Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to Soulful Saturdays with Saylor. Around here, we cut through the noise, ditch the fluff, and dive straight into what matters: spiritual wellness, radical self acceptance, and unapologetic soulful living. Each week, I'll bring you truth with a side of sass, reflections that wake you up, and reminders that you are glorious. So, whether you've got your journal, your coffee, or that wild, messy bun, you are exactly where you need to be. So, I have a feeling this one is going to step on a few toes. Not in a mean way, more like a little nudge from the universe that says, hey, you know that thing you keep avoiding? Yep, we need to talk about that. Today, we are talking about something that I believe every single one of us has wrestled with at some point: your voice. Not just the words that come out of your mouth, your truth, your ideas, your opinions, your dreams, your beautiful, messy, powerful perspective that only you can bring into this world. Because here's the question I want you to sit with today. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately made yourself smaller? Maybe you had something to say, but you thought, maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe someone else knows it better. Or my personal favorite, well, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. So, beautiful soul, can we talk about this for a minute? Because somewhere along the way, so many of us have learned to whisper when we were born to speak. We learned that speaking might create conflict. We learned that being powerful might make someone else uncomfortable. We learned that being too confident might be labeled us as being too much or too loud, too emotional, too ambitious, too opinionated. And somewhere in that process, we started editing ourselves. We started shrinking ourselves. We started softening our dreams. And we started asking permission to be who we already are. And today, we're going to change that because your voice, it matters. Your voice is not a problem to solve. Your voice is a gift to share. All right, beautiful soul. So now let's get into some of the real good stuff because that hesitation isn't who we are. Because I want to talk about something that I think so many of us do without even realizing it. We hold ourselves back, and not just a little bit. Oh, no. Some of us have become professional self editors. We can take a beautifully brilliant thought that comes straight from our heart, and before it even makes it out of our mouth, we have completely rewritten the entire thing. Anyone else? You know what I'm talking about. Someone asks you your opinion and you think, oh, I haven't thought about that. You open your mouth, and then here comes the internal committee meeting. Well, maybe I shouldn't say it that way. Ooh, what if they disagree? Ooh, what if they think that's silly? Ooh, wait, what if someone gets offended? And before you know it, your original thought has gone through so many edits, revisions, and approval processes, it needs to own its own project manager. Seriously, our brains can be funny little creatures. And here's where I want us to get curious. Why do we do this? Why do we take our own wisdom, our own experiences, our own truth, and immediately question whether it deserves space? Whew. For many of us, we learned somewhere along the way that being accepted was safer than being authentic. Maybe we were taught to be polite. Maybe we were taught to keep the peace. Maybe you became the person who could read everyone else's emotions in the room before you ever checked in with your own. And listen, being compassionate is a beautiful gift. Being thoughtful is a beautiful gift. But constantly abandoning yourself to make everyone else comfortable, no, you're not supposed to do that. That comes at a cost. Because every time you silence yourself, you send yourself a little message. My thoughts don't matter as much. My opinion isn't important. Someone else knows something better than me. And that message, that's not truth. That's conditioning. There's a difference. Your hesitation is not your identity. Your hesitation is not proof that you are weak. Your hesitation is not proof that you don't know enough. It is simply a learned response, a pattern, a protected little habit that once may have helped you feel safe, but now it may be keeping you small. And I want you to hear this with so much love. You do not have to earn the right to use your voice. You do not have to become more qualified. You do not have to wait until you are 100% confident, because confidence doesn't always come before you speak. Sometimes confidence is created because you spoke. You took the chance. You honored yourself. You trusted that what lives inside you has value. So the next time you feel that pause, that hesitation creeping in, that little moment where you start editing yourself, I want you to notice it. Don't judge it. Just notice it. And gently remind yourself, wait a minute, is this my truth I'm sharing? Or is this my fear trying to protect me? Because, beautiful soul, your voice was never the problem. The world has enough people trying to be perfect. What we need is more people willing to be real. Your thoughts matter. Your truth matters. Your voice matters. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop asking for permission to shine or permission to speak. So, beautiful soul, this is where things are going to get a little real. They're going to get really good, because this is where awareness is powerful. See, your voice is your compass, and you need to recognize the patterns, noticing where we have been holding ourselves back, understanding that maybe some of our hesitation was learned. That is a beautiful first step. And you know me, we're not going to sit here and just to collect self-awareness like little trophies on a shelf. Oh, look at me. I know exactly why I do that. No, that's great. That's a gold star. Yeah. Now, what we are going to do with it, because transformation happens when we take what we know and we start living differently. And this is the shift that I want you really to feel today. Your voice is not just about speaking. Your voice is your compass. And I want you to think about that. A compass helps you find your direction. It helps you know where you are. It guides you towards where you are meant to go. But what happens when you ignore your compass? You get lost. You start following someone else's map. You start making decisions based on what keeps everyone else comfortable instead of what feels true for you. Whew. And beautiful soul, it is exhausting because you were meant to spend you were never meant to spend your entire life navigating by someone else's directions. You were given your own inner compass for a reason. Your voice is connected to your values. Your voice is connected to your dreams. Your voice is connected to that little whisper inside you that says, this matters. This feels right. This is who I'm becoming. And when you silence that voice over and over again, you slowly start disconnecting from yourself. You may still be showing up. You may still be taking care of everyone. You may still be checking all the boxes. But inside, something feels off. Like you are living beside yourself instead of fully with yourself. And maybe you have had that moment where you stop and think, wait a minute. When did I start asking everyone else what I wanted? When did I start needing approval before trusting myself? When did my own voice become the quietest one in the room? This is the beautiful invitation because your voice has not disappeared. It has been there all along, waiting for you to turn the volume back up. And here is something important. Owning your voice does not mean becoming the loudest person in the room. It does not mean proving your worth. It does not mean making everyone agree with you. That is not power. Real power is peace. Real power is standing in your truth while still honoring others. It is saying, this is what I believe. This is what I need. This is what feels aligned for me. And allowing that to be enough. Because the more you trust your voice, the stronger your compass becomes. The more you honor yourself, the clearer your path becomes. The more you stop abandoning yourself, the more you come home to yourself. So today, my beautiful soul, listen differently. Listen for the thoughts you keep pushing away. Listen for the dreams that you keep putting on hold. Listen for the truth that you keep editing. Because maybe that little voice inside you is not being inconvenient. Maybe it is not asking too much. Maybe it is simply reminding you, hey, I'm still here. It's time. Your voice is your compass. And when you trust it, you will find your way back to you. See, when your voice gets tired of whispering, because this is where we get honest. This is where we pull up that chair and you're going to grab your coffee and we're going to have a conversation that maybe we have been avoiding for a little while. So let me ask you something. How many times have you known exactly what you want to say, but then you stopped yourself? Maybe you had an idea in a meeting. Maybe you wanted to share your opinion. Maybe you needed to have an important conversation. Maybe there was something in your heart that you knew needed to be said. But somewhere between your brain and your mouth, a little voice stepped in and was like, are you sure? What if they disagree? What if they think we're wrong? What if they don't like you anymore? And suddenly, that brilliant thought you had, the truth you wanted to share, it quietly packs its bag, grabs a little suitcase, and walked right out the door. Seriously, our brains can do so dramatic. It can be so dramatic sometimes. They act like every conversation is a courtroom drama. Your Honor, I would like to present the case for why we should not speak today. Yeah, think about it. You're walking into a courtroom and you're going to tell the judge and you're going to address him. Your Honor, I would like to present the case for why we should not speak today. And meanwhile, your beautiful idea is sitting in the corner drinking coffee, wondering, wait, weren't we excited about this 5 minutes ago? Weren't we doing a little happy dance? So can we just laugh at ourselves for just a little bit? Because we have all done this, me included. Yes, I have. But underneath the humor is something really important. That hesitation, that moment where you pull yourself back, that moment where you make yourself smaller, that is not who you are. That is something that you learned. That is conditioning. Somewhere along the way, many of us learned that acceptance felt safer than authenticity. And maybe we learned to keep that peace. Maybe we became that person who could walk into a room and immediately feel everyone's emotions. You knew who was upset. You knew who needed support. You knew who needed encouragement. You became incredibly skilled at reading everyone else. But somewhere along the way, you stopped reading yourself. You stopped asking, what do I need? What do I think? What feels right for me? And I want you to hear this with so much love. Being caring is beautiful. Being compassionate is beautiful. Being someone who considers others is a gift. But constantly abandoning yourself to avoid making someone else uncomfortable, that's not kindness. That's self-betrayal. Oh, that one kind of stung a little. Sometimes the truth is the kindest thing we can give ourselves, because your voice was never meant to disappear just because someone else was not ready to hear it. Ooh, let's say that one again. Your voice was never meant to disappear just because someone else was not ready to hear it. And now I want you to be I want to be really clear with you. Owning your voice does not mean walking into every room like a human megaphone. Nope. We are not talking about being the loudest person. We are not talking about proving that you are right. We're not talking about winning every argument. No, 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 no. Because that's not power. It's protection. Now, real power is different. Real power is calm, it's grounded, it's being able to stand in your truth while still honoring someone else's truth. It is being able to say, this is what I believe. This is what I need. This is what feels aligned for me. And then letting that be enough without needing everyone to clap, without needing everyone to agree, without needing everyone to understand. Because let's be honest, waiting for everyone's approval is exhausting. Say it with me, exhausting. And if you are waiting for every single person in your life to understand your growth, you might be waiting for a long time. Because here's something that I have learned. Sometimes people are not uncomfortable because you are doing something wrong. Sometimes they are uncomfortable because you are doing something different. They knew the version of you who always said yes. They knew the version of you who stayed quiet. They knew the version of you who carried everyone else's emotions. Like they were your responsibility. And maybe that version of you worked for a season. Maybe that version helped you survive. But eventually your soul gets tired of whispering. Eventually something inside you says, enough. It's time. I am ready to be seen. And beautiful soul, that is where your power begins. Not when everyone else approves, not when everyone else understands, not when everyone else celebrates. Your power begins when you decide that you are no longer abandoning yourself. And remember, your voice is your compass. Your inner compass is constantly trying to guide you back home, back to your values, back to your purpose, back to the person that you were created to become. But if you constantly silence that compass, you start wandering, you start following someone else's map, you start choosing the path that makes everyone else comfortable instead of the path that feels true for you. And you were never created to live someone else's journey. You were created to live yours. Your voice carries your wisdom, your experience, your lessons, your perspective, your magic. And there is someone out there who needs what you and only you can say. But they cannot receive it if you keep it hiding, if you keep hiding it. So today, my friend, I want you to sit with these questions. Where have I been whispering when I was meant to speak? When have I been waiting for permission? Where have I been shrinking my light? Because this month, our whisper is one powerful word: shine. And shining does not mean standing above everyone else. It means finally standing fully as you. Not louder, not better, not more important, just fully you. And beautiful soul, the world does not need a smaller version of you. It needs your voice. It needs your truth. It needs your light. Your voice belongs here. This is the moment where we are going to take all of that beautiful awareness, all those aha moments, all those places where you caught yourself saying, oh, wow, I do that. And now we'll do something with it, because awareness without action, well, that is just a really interesting thought that we had while we were drinking our coffee. And you know me, I do love a good cup of coffee, but I don't want to just sit here sipping coffee, collecting breakthroughs like little souvenirs. Oh, look at this one. I realized I needed a better boundary. Or here's another one. I realized I have been shrinking myself. Beautifully, wonderfully. Now, what are we going to do with that? Because transformation doesn't happen when we simply recognize the pattern. Transformation happens when we choose something different. So here is your new question, my friend. I want you to write this one down. I want you to put it on a sticky note. I want you to put it on your mirror. Put it somewhere where you will see it. And before you speak, before you share an idea, before you express what is in your heart, ask yourself, is this true for me? That's it. It's simple. It's powerful. Is this true for me? Not, will everyone agree? Because, friend, if we are waiting for everyone to agree with us, we might as well grab a snack and get comfortable, because we are going to be waiting for a while, a long while, and a lot of snacks later. I'm just saying. So will everyone approve? Because approval is a very expensive thing to chase. It costs us our peace, it costs us our authenticity, and sometimes it costs us our voice. And definitely not, will this make everyone comfortable? We're not asking that question anymore. Because let me tell you something, your growth is not a customer service experience where everyone gets to fill out a satisfaction survey. Oh, excuse me. I noticed you became more confident, so I am going to need you to tone that down. No, this is not how it works. Your job is not to shrink yourself so everyone else can stay comfortable. Your job is to stay connected to yourself. So when something is true for you, you do not need a 10-page PowerPoint presentation explaining why you feel that way. Although, let's be honest, some of us could probably create one with charts and graphs and supporting evidence and a complete appendix, because sometimes we want to prove our truth before we even allow ourselves to speak it. You do not need to convince everyone that your feelings are valid. You do not need to apologize before you begin. And you do not need to soften your truth until nobody can even recognize it anymore. You can simply say, this is where I stand. This is what I feel. This is what I know. Clean, clear, done. And there is so much freedom in that. Because the goal is not to become louder. The goal is to become more aligned. The goal is not to take up someone else's space. The goal is to finally stop abandoning your own. Your power was never missing. Your voice was never gone. It was simply waiting for you to come home to yourself. So today, my beautiful soul, speak kindly, speak honestly, speak courageously. Trust your inner compass and remember your voice, it matters. Your truth, it matters. Your light, it matters. Because your voice does not, it just doesn't, forgive me. Your light matters because your voice does not just belong in the room, your voice belongs here, right now. It is time to let yourself be heard. Let yourself be heard. So we're going to give you a gentle nudge for the week. And I want you to carry this one with you. Someone may not understand your new confidence. That's okay. Someone may not recognize the version of who is finally standing taller. That's okay. Someone may prefer the version of you who stayed quiet, or the version of you who always said yes, or the version who never challenged anything, the version who made everyone smaller so everyone else could feel bigger. That's okay, because your growth was never designed to keep everyone else comfortable. That one's worth sitting with for a while. Your growth was never designed to keep everyone else comfortable. Because here's the thing. When you start honoring yourself, it may surprise people. When you start setting boundaries, it may confuse people. And when you start using your voice, it may challenge people who were used to you staying silent. And friend, that doesn't mean you are doing something wrong. It means something's changing. And change, well, change makes people a little wiggly sometimes, including ourselves. Let's be honest. Sometimes the person most uncomfortable with the new version of you is you. Because stepping into your power means leaving behind the familiar, even when the familiar wasn't serving you. So this week, your job is not to convince everyone. Your job is not to explain yourself until everyone gives you a gold star. So remember, we retired that job. No more applying for the position of professional people pleaser. The position is officially closed. Your job is simply this: come home to yourself, step into your light, speak your truth with love, because your job is not to shrink so someone else can shine brighter. There is room for all of us to shine. Your light does not take away from anyone else. The world does not need a smaller version of you. It needs the real you, the honest you, the courageous you, the beautifully imperfect, wonderfully human you. So this week, pay attention. Notice where you are about to whisper, and gently choose to speak, not with anger, not with arrogance, not with the need to prove anything, with love, with truth, with conviction. Because, beautiful soul, your voice is your power. It has always been there, and now it is time to let it be heard. Keep it shining, keep it growing, and most importantly, keep being gloriously, wonderfully you. And that, my friends, is our episode on Own Your Voice, Own Your Power. Thanks for tuning in, beautiful souls. Take this week to listen to the whispers and remember, your soul knows the way. And as you move through the week, carry this truth in your heart. You are worthy, you are radiant, and your presence matters. And never forget, stay soulful, stay sassy, stay you. I'll see you next Saturday, beautiful soul. Same time, same vibe, same glorious energy.